Live on our Q&A show. Duke Baxter, Steve Nikorak. We're at Zone Sports Academy, and we're ready to talk about all kinds of cool topics. We're going to talk about some infield play. We're going to talk about our post-weekend games, how we did in our games. Coach Steve had a doubleheader. I had some games, and we're going to talk about all kinds of cool stuff. Make sure you tell us where you're watching from, what level you're coaching, what level coach you are, and the age group. Any questions you have, any drills you want to see, let us know. Coach Steve, what do you got for us today?
Yeah, bunch of good topics today. I'm looking forward to going over some infield stuff. And it always seems like these Monday morning recaps work out well because I coached our 12U team yesterday. We had two games, a doubleheader, 6 innings each, and we played 10 innings of great baseball and 2 innings of really, really bad baseball. And we ended up losing both games, and a lot of it came down to infield play. So it always seems like it works out exactly what we plan on talking about. We kind of live it throughout the weekend. I'm sure some of you guys do too, and looking forward to getting into a bunch of it.
I think it's interesting when we talk about infield stuff, and we do so many drills. We work with high school kids, college kids, and then we have our T-ballers, which we're getting ready to go to later on today in Montgomery. But when we're going over some of the drills, it's what you would do with a high school kid or a high school team is so different than what you see out of 11-year-olds or 9-year-olds and 8-year-olds, whether it's fielding progressions that you're doing that players can do together. And then you watch your 9-year-olds trying to do that, and you're like, oh no, they're almost like not doing the drill justice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's we're gonna try to tie in some of the younger age stuff today, as well as maybe some of the advanced stuff. So
a lot of the stuff that we do, we run infield classes for 8 to 10-year-olds, and then an hour later we run infield classes for varsity level and college level baseball players. So what's funny is the practice plan is the same. It's just dummying down the same drills, maybe using different words to explain, slowing things down a bit. The teachings are all the same. It's just a matter of really making it basic and simple for those younger guys, teaching the same concepts, but trying to teach the same skill set a variety of different ways. I think that's what makes coaching fun, and especially, in what we do, bouncing from little kids to college kids, to softball to baseball, it's constantly changing, and, we just got to think quick on our feet and make sure that what we're teaching the player understands.
It was interesting because this morning I put just a funny post. We played on a game on Sunday, and the lines were kind of squiggly, and I just said, hey, how was your weekend this weekend? How'd you guys do? And did anybody see anything crazy? And I think at around 9:30 there was already 125 comments, and the stuff was hilarious. One guy said that there was a ball hit into the outfield. Their outfielder caught the ball, but the kid tripped. His glove fell off, and the ball stayed in his glove on the field. Coach Steve, is that an out?
I don't even know if I've ever seen that before. I have no idea.
He said it was a shoestring catch. He caught the ball, boom, his glove fell off, the ball stayed in his glove. So I replied, is that, I think it's an out, the ball never hit the ground.
I don't even know.
So there was just all kinds of great things but one of the topics was a lot of people were talking about how, some of the parents get nuts. There's one group that was saying how every time the other team got a hit, the parents were in the cars honking the horns really loud every time they got a hit. And they were saying how it was almost impossible to hear each other on the field because all the parents around the stands were laying on their horns throughout the game. So it was just all kinds of crazy stuff. You guys can check out that post, and I'm sure you'll get some humor out of it for a while. So again, remember, make sure you put your questions in. We'll try to get to as many questions as we possibly can. We got a good 45 minutes. And then we also come back and look at those and try to hit those. So what's the first thing you want to do, Coach Steve? You want to go over just some basic ground ball stuff of maybe what you saw this weekend that the team almost needs of?
Yeah, I planned on doing a little progression. So every time we do infield work, we always start with a progression. It could be a bare hand progression followed by a glove progression, and then from there we always work into some footwork, some angles, depending on what the player needs to work on that day. We got a lot of kids that come in that need help with the backhand, but it's almost like our daily vitamins. Every single day we go through the same pick progression. You know, to get the hands working, to get the eyes working. We love using the bare hand because it makes it that much easier once we do put a glove on. You know, Duke and I both have these little trainers right now. Love using trainers. You know, they're smaller, it's more challenging to secure the ball. But I think, you know, you see it at the big league level too. Guys go out. Ron Washington posts some great stuff, you know, with his guys down on 2 knees, just working on pick work and glove work and, you know, getting their eyes behind the ball. So my goal for today was to show you guys a couple progressions that we like to do. And then if you guys see any specific issues with your players, specifically your infielders, that you'd like us to cover, I'd love to do that too.
Awesome.
Good? You want to hop right into it?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, so we should be good right
perfect.
here. So one we always like to start with, we have the players line up. Duke and I are a little bit close for camera purposes here, but 8 to 10 feet apart, and we're going to use no glove. So this is just our bare hand pick progression. So you'll notice when Duke and I do this, we're on both knees. We're going to bend at the waist. So our butts are back, our chest is forward, and all we're going to do is toss short hops to one another. He's going to work on picking through nice and soft. I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to do 5 each right out in front. You know, your players can do this on the warning track. They can do it in the grass. But you'll notice when we're picking these, we're not scooping underneath the ball. We're pushing forward with kind of the heel of our hand here, and our fingertips are down. That's the position we want to be in every time we're fielding a ground ball. We always want the fingertips to be down. So many kids do this, and now it turns the glove into a ramp. So we're going to do a few more here. Fingertips are down, we're pushing through, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take our right leg and we're going to kick it out on a 45-degree angle. So now we're just going to do forehands. It's the exact same drill here. We're going to do a few of these. Perfect. And then we're going to switch, and we're going to kick our left leg out, and we're going to work backhands. This one's a little bit more challenging here. So this is one of our favorite, you know, warm-up progressions. From there, we do the exact same drill with a glove on, right? So 5, 5, and 5, routine forehand, backhand. For your younger players, you can have them actually use the glove and just roll it. Because some kids, you'll notice, they don't even know how to toss a short hop. So just rolling it, and then we're going to work on getting that ball to our chest. So we're in here. Notice when Coach Duke and I are fielding this, watch Coach Duke's elbows here. After he fields it, his elbows are working out. So we talk about using 2 hands a lot, but we don't want to use 2 hands so that one hand's at 12 o'clock and one's at 6 o'clock, because then when we field it, our elbows are kind of jamming into our ribs. We want to think more like 1 and 7, so now when we work out, our elbows are nice and soft. We have a little bit more give, a little bit more flex in our arms. From there, we'll go up onto our feet. We can do the exact same pick progression from here, where, you know, we're going 5, 5, and 5, but we're going to skip that one because we just showed that to you. My next one we're going to do is our left toe is going to go in the air. You'll hear us talk a lot about left foot timing, and all that means is, as an infielder, every time we're fielding the ground ball, we're always timing the ball with our left foot. So I'm rolling into my left foot as that ball's touching my glove. It's going to keep my feet moving towards first. So Duke's going to go first. His left toe is going to be up in the air. As he fields it, he's going to roll into it and then pop his feet to his target. Left toes up, rolling straight through. Perfect. Good. That's one of my favorites, just to try to create a little bit of rhythm, a little bit of momentum going towards first base. And I'll show you guys one more, and then we'll get going with questions. Let me go on this angle here. We'll do the choppy steps around the circle. Okay. So Coach Duke's going to face the camera here. I'm going to get in here. We're going to pretend that that's a cone there. What Duke's going to do is he's going to start in front of the cone. He's going to go counterclockwise, as many choppy steps as he can. When he gets behind the cone, I'm going to roll the ball. He's going to play through it and then pop his feet. So he's working around it. When he gets behind it, I roll it. Right, left, again, working on that right, left timing. We'll do one more. Good. So those are just some fun progressions that we like to start the day with. Again, we could be here all day showing you, you know, some of our favorite drills, and, you know, infield's one of the things that we love to do. We've been running infield classes together for a long time. Coach Duke used to coach me in infield. You know, so we could keep going, but I figured we'd go right to you guys now. If you have any specific infield questions, kids stopping their feet, getting eaten up by a bad hop, really anything, we'd love to help. Let's see. Joey Bass had the same play that happened to you. Once the glove is off the hand, it's part of the field. There we go, now we know.
There it is, now we know. Wow.
Let's go up to the top. There was one good one there from Sonny. Sonny was talking about his team, earning the #1 seed in the tournament, doing really well. The mood was really great going into the game. Players were loose and relaxed, and then the defense fell apart. We ended up getting beat pretty badly in the final. This happens a lot after winning big games. Seems like an emotion in the game before was yes.
And the woman right behind it had said the same
Same
exact
thing?
thing. Same exact thing.
We've gone through that, especially when you guys are in tournaments and you're playing, 3, 4, 5 games on a weekend. You get to the finals and you guys are so exhausted and so spent from trying so hard to get to the finals. It's tough to, get fired back up for that final game. That's just a struggle we all go through. I mean, we went through it all last summer. You play so much. We went through it. We won a big championship. We played 7 games in one weekend. We won the championship. It was huge. Went back the next weekend, and it was like our championship hangover. Yeah. We were so flat. We looked like a completely different team. So, Sonny, I know what you're talking about, man. We've been there, and I think it's just a matter of sending the message to the kids that every time we're on the field, we have something to prove. Last game is history. Now we have to focus on playing the best 6 or 7 innings that we can right now. And it's challenging, right? I mean, when you're at the field for 7, 8 hours a day, it's difficult. But I think that's the message right there. You got to do your best to stay energized as a coach. Yeah. Give the kids water, give them food, keep them hydrated, and then try to forget about the last game, reset. Let's go through a quick little warm up and get ready for this championship. Yeah. I think that's the biggest challenge for me.
I think that's an awesome question. It happened to us yesterday. We were winning 4-2. We're playing against a good team. We're in the 3rd inning, 4th inning. We're like, all right, we're playing good baseball. We're doing good stuff, and all of a sudden, one error, right? One error, and then all of a sudden it seemed like the storm came over our heads. Everyone started getting on their heels a little bit, or that's what it seemed like anyway, right? Then it's like this happens. Next, they tied it up. It's 4-4. Now we're down 6-4, and it was like, what just happened? We just went from being super pumped to nobody wanting the ball like that. And I think that it starts with us as coaches, like Coach Steve said, us as coaches. What are we doing when all of a sudden the score's getting closer, or, we're nice and chill and nice and relaxed when we're winning, but then all of a sudden, what happens when we start losing? Or does the coaching staff start to all of a sudden put more pressure on the guys and start coaching differently? And so I think that's super important, because there was a play when it was 4-2 that we had a runner on first base. He had just gotten a single, and there was a lefty on the mound, and he does this. He comes set, he lifts his leg up, and he holds it there. All of a sudden, one of our coaches in the dugout starts screaming, balk, balk. And then the other coaches, balk, balk. Next thing you know, 4 guys are screaming balk. The guy on first base who was stealing all of a sudden slows down. Ground ball hit to the second baseman. He gets it. He actually bobbled it, but our runner practically stopped. He took it, threw it to second base, and we're like, and that was like the game changer. That right there, that situation was almost like the shift in the game. And the coach wasn't wrong. It was like the guy had just started to pitch, so he lifts his leg, he holds, and then he still pitched, and it was almost like that right there was almost like the momentum changer of the whole game. Now, am I going to say that's what was? Who knows? But there's always a point in the game where you can be like, at this time when this happened, things started to get a little bit different, and we ended up losing. We were trying to bounce back, and it was almost like the wind was out of our sails, and we just couldn't get it going again. So I don't think there's any magic pill on when things start going bad, how to recruit it, except for, calling timeout, bringing your guys in, doing what you can do to. But that's baseball. I mean, I think that can happen in your daily life, right? You're having a great day, and all of a sudden one thing happens, and everything falls apart. Everything starts falling apart. It seems like.
It's funny because Duke and I we just finished shooting our newest course, and a lot of it is the mental game, and it's the game within the game, and managing players and their emotions, and what they struggle with, what makes them nervous, what makes them tick. And I went out yesterday for a mound visit in the 6th inning. We're up 10-3. Long story short, we end up losing the game 12-10. The other team, we walked a bunch of guys, a bunch of errors. It comes down to wanting the ball in that situation. And everybody on our team at that point was so nervous because we walked a couple guys, we made a couple errors. It's like we were on eggshells. I mean, rundowns, simple rundowns where we could have got the kid out easily. we're babying throws and then we're short hopping them. Then other kids are trying to throw really hard and they're airmailing throws. So, it's talking to your guys so that after an error, right? I'm playing second, Duke's playing short. If I make an error, it's Coach Duke's job to look at me, hey, Steve, we got the next one. So what? You're going to make this next play. And that doesn't happen at the younger ages because everybody kind of goes into their little shell. They're nervous. There's really no talking going on. Instead of finding that one leader on the field, and I talked to our shortstop about it because he is very vocal and he's a great player and he's a team leader. He's constantly talking. But in that situation, everybody goes, gets nervous. They don't really want the ball hit to them. And then when it is, they just press the panic button. So I think it's, teaching the players to communicate with each other too. Say, hey, so what? And in that situation, we could have given up a grand slam and we were still way in the lead. But that's just baseball, and it's just one thing after the other. I mean, 3 rundowns, a ball thrown, 3 guys backing up all missed it. It was a merry-go-round, and it was stressful and it was tough because we couldn't stop the leaking, and we ended up losing. But again, it's early in the season. It's 12U baseball. It was fun, and it's something that we can learn from.
Coach Chad's one of our biggest supporters, always on. He's got a good question for us. I have a pitcher, 10U, on our team that seems to struggle to repeat his pitching routine. One batter just fires strikes, and the next batter just tossing the ball. Any tips to get him to repeat his delivery over and over again? Hey, Chad, I almost have the same situation with my son, Tyler. He throws really hard. He'll go up one batter, and if he throws a strike, it's like he goes faster and faster. It's almost like a confidence thing. Like he doesn't pitch all that much, but it's like once he throws a strike, it's like, here comes one even faster, here comes one even faster, strike 3 pitches. Next one, he throws a ball, and all of a sudden it goes slower and slower and slower. He goes from firing to aiming to, I hope I throw a strike, to what do I do next? Yeah. And I think it's, only being 10 years old, I think it's a matter of them being able to repeat that and get the confidence, and having a catcher that's like, let's go, like right here. I mean, I think that's something good that a coach can do, as well as kind of like work with your pitcher and your catcher of like, hey, let's go, Chad, you got it. Come on, just focus on that glove and go get it. And just keep reminding him that, building the confidence of, hey, let's go, you got this. And it just kind of erases I'm trying to lift my leg up. I'm trying to make sure I'm pointing my target, and keeping the noise out of his ears of 3 different coaches being like, hey, make sure you're finishing, make sure you're getting your leg up higher, because you hear that all the time too. So I would say have one person that you almost like designate to him, and he's locked in with your son, the catcher, and you're just really, staying focused and saying those little key words that really work. So I think that'll really help.
Got a good one from Ryan Conrad. At what age do you start working with young athletes who want to play first base with foot skills? And what foot skills do you teach? Love the ground ball drills, trying to teach my 9-year-old this. I coach 9 and 10-year-old Little League, 10U. Augusta, Maine, awesome. Ryan, really good question there. I'm going to get a base here for you, and I'm going to just demonstrate some of the basic footworks that I do on first. I never played first base growing up, and then as soon as I got to pro ball and I had to try to find a spot on the field to play, I started playing some first. But the basic footwork that I always teach is when the ball's hit, the player has to get to the bag. The first baseman cannot watch the play happen. They can't watch, the ball hit. They can't drift. So I always teach our guys, start with your heels on the corners of the base. And the reason I do this is because a lot of players will just get to the bag, they'll put one foot in the middle, and they'll just stride out, right? And they get ready to receive the throw like this, not knowing how much room they have on either side of their foot, not knowing if it's going to be a bad throw. So I always have them set with their heels on the corner. So now I'm nice and athletic. I'm waiting to see the throw before I make my move. Now as a righty, I'm always going to pivot with my right foot. Lefties, it's going to be the opposite. They're always going to pivot with their left. So I'm here. If the throw's right at me, it's going to be a quick pivot with my right, and I stride out to the throw. If it's to my backhand side or my throwing side, I'm already on the edge of the base. I'm going to pivot off the corner and stride out. And then if it's to my glove side, I'm just going to replace my feet. So my right foot's going to go where my left foot is, and I'm going to stride out and make the play. The reason I want to start on the edges is because now I can always work off the end of the base and have that much more room to reach, right? If I just start like this and I stride out to my glove side, that's as far as I can go. But if I work with another 6 inches, now it's bang, I can reach all the way out there. So it's just important that they get to the bag early, They find the bag, they know where they're at on the bag, and they work off the edges. So many kids you'll see, they get right here, they put their foot in the middle, stride out, they get their ankle taken out by a runner. So here, I'll do it this way so you guys can actually see. So I'm here, we're pretending the runner's coming down this way. It's always working off the edges. I kind of like the ball of my foot on the bag, right? Not really flat-footed. And that's basic footwork right there. So get there early, work off the corners. As a righty, it's always a right tap and stretch. As a lefty, it's just the opposite, right? So it's just a left tap and stretch. But being in this position allows you to adjust to a bad throw. You're more athletic, you can see where it's taking you, and that's just one thing that I learned playing first base that I absolutely love. So hopefully that helps. And I gotta get the ball I dropped.
Coach Adam, what is the best thing to say to a kid who always asks to pitch but is way down on the depth chart? I think that's a good one. We had talked to another gentleman a couple of years ago about this, and he was coaching a rec team and really needed to get all of his guys to pitch because he really had to develop pitchers, right? And he only had like one real pitch, and everybody else was kind of throwers. And one of the things that we said was give him an expectation, but let him know what that is. So maybe you tell that kid, hey, I'm going to give you 3 batters in the second inning. 3 batters, that's it. Not a full inning, not, I'm going to wait till you walk 3 guys. It's like, hey, I'm going to give you a chance to pitch. You got 3 batters this inning, let's go. And it's almost like you can minimize the damage that gets done, right? Like a whole inning, who knows what can happen. But if the expectation's 3 batters, hey, we're going to let you pitch. You got 3 batters. I think that's a good way of letting the kid know in advance so you're not just taking him out like, oh, I did a bad job. No, he knows right off the bat 3. Maybe he does really awesome and you're like, whoa, I just learned something here. But I think that setting an expectation and maybe small like that, 3 batters, you're giving them a shot in a game where, you're blowing a team out or maybe whatever. I know that the guys that didn't throw for us yesterday are going to throw live on Tuesday in practice. So that's also how you can get those guys in, have them throw live batting practice to your team and have, we play 5-on-5 and 5 guys are, hitting and then we kind of change the pitches around, but have them do that. That's another way for you to kind of see if he can manage the strike zone, if he can't, that sort of thing. So that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, it's perfect. That's all I was going to say is try to mix them in practice, but Duke touched on all of it. That was good. Good one from Coach Ryan Ball here. My son is left-handed on 8U and plays second base. Any drills you recommend? Ryan, I think the same drills that we worked on in the beginning regarding the right-left timing, just trying to create some rhythm, all of the pick progressions, all of the glove work. I think the pick progressions and the glove work are going to be exactly the same. The timing is going to be a bit different for him, though. Yeah. As a lefty, it's always left-right field, left-right, and then obviously it's a more difficult throw because he's got to change his angles, change his footwork, and get his body lined up to first. But I would say really enjoy it because you don't get to play second base too long as a lefty. But I love that. I love when we played against a kid at 12U yesterday, lefty catcher. You never see that at the older ages. But if your son's a good athlete and he's out there playing second, do it as long as you possibly can until probably middle school or high school when they say you can't anymore. But I think just the overall timing of it, the left-right, all the pick progressions we showed earlier, I think are huge. I think the challenging part is turning 2, right? From the shortstop or from the third baseman. So I'm not exactly sure how you would do that. Right. Maybe just like a reverse pivot, almost like you're a cuts and relays guy. Pivoting around the right shoulder, spinning and going. But no, that's fun. I always love seeing that.
You want to move on to Chris's, or do you want to?
Yeah, let's do Coach Robert. Coach Robert Ellison. Non-infield question: what is your pregame warm-up routine? Coach Rob, good one there. What we always do is we get there an hour early. So, depending on whether or not there's batting cages, if we're there an hour early, we try to hit right away, get the hitting out of the way, for 20, 25 minutes. From there, we always head down the line, and we get a good dynamic warm-up in. So, Coach Dom pulled up our dynamic warm-up routine. Perfect. So, we've got a bunch of examples down there on the right of different stretches that we do. So high knees, butt kicks, side shuffles, karaoke, just to get some blood flowing. I think that's the most important thing at the younger ages. Get them moving, build up a sweat, really get the muscles warmed up before we even pick up a ball. I see so many Little League teams, and we see it tonight. We go to Montgomery, and we have T-ballers, rookies, minors, all the way up to majors, and kids just pick up balls and start firing them. So it's making sure they have a good sweat going, making sure they're really warmed up properly, and then from there we go into a progressive throwing program. It's a timed throwing program, so it's starting on a knee, it's backing up 10 feet, it's doing them with our feet locked into position. We do some figure eights. Perfect. Don pulled up our throwing program here too. So it's a timed throwing program. Once that's complete, we go into our pick progression. So the pick progressions that Duke and I just did, we always do our picks, and then kids will hop in the dugout, get a drink, and then they'll come back out. And most fields and tournaments don't allow us to do a full infield outfield, so we'll set up 2 lines. We'll hit ground balls to the infielders, they'll throw them back in. We'll hit a fly ball to the outfielder, he throws it to that same infielder, he's the relay man, and then we just go from there for 10, 15 minutes. Once that's done, kids head into the dugout, grab a drink, and I always have our guys stand outside the dugout and watch the opposing pitcher warm up. So while that pitcher's warming up, our guys just have their bats in their hands, they're working on their timing, they're working on their load, and at that point we're ready to roll for first pitch. That's our 1 hour, in a nutshell, our 1 hour pregame routine.
If any of you want to get these routines, you can go on dominateTheDiamond.com, click on membership. We'll try to add it in the comments. You can get our membership free 7 days. You get all of our templates, all of our courses, all of our videos, all of our content. There's over 850 videos on there. There's templates for lineup cards. There's our warm-up routines, our pregame throwing routines. Everything and anything that we have, you get it for free. Click on that, and that'll really help you. So enjoy that. Runner on second, Coach Glover. Runner on second and third, no outs. Ball's hit, and it hits the runner on second, who is not on the bag, and he's called out. Question is, does the runner on third get to advance home, or because of the dead ball, does he go back to third? Thanks, guys.
Those are 2 tough questions already, and I'm 0 for 2 on knowing the answer. I think if it's a dead ball, if it's ruled a dead ball, I would assume he has to go back. I know there's some weird rules out there. My first college hit, I actually hit the runner running from first to second. It was a 1-hop ground ball. It hit the base runner. He was out, but it counted as a 1-for-1 for me because there was no defender behind him. So I don't know if there's any weird. So that was my first college hit. So I don't know if there's any weird rules. Depending on where the fielder was the fielder right behind the base runner? Would it have been a base hit? I think, there's weird rules. I think every state it changes a little bit. I would assume if they called it a dead ball, they probably have to bring every runner back to their original base, but I'm not 100% sure.
We'll find out that answer and get back to you. Yeah. Liz, 10U Select Elite in Columbus, Ohio. How do you teach a right-handed pitcher to cue or tip off his third baseman and shortstop or second baseman for a back throw pickoff attempt? Is there any sign or a way that's not too obvious which will get the infielder to break to the base when the pitcher raises his left knee? I think there's a lot of things that the shortstop that we have that the shortstop and the pitcher do together, because a lot of times the shortstop sees the actual play. He sees and feels where the runner is, and you need to make sure that the shortstop and the pitcher, have that going on. So we do something called daylight, and all we'll do is the shortstop will do one of these. If second base is on this side, the shortstop will just go like this to the pitcher. The pitcher just goes to the brim of his hat like this, and all that means is now when the pitcher comes set, he turns and looks, and as soon as I want the baseball, I flash the glove and I take off running, and he throws it. So that's something between the pitcher that's super, all it is this, boom. This guy's got too much, let's go. Boom, there it is. He comes set, boom. I dart and go. The other one you can do that we have is you can just go to your ear. If the shortstop goes to the ear, pitcher goes back to the hat, that could be I look once, I turn, I lift, and as I lift, the shortstop or the second baseman break, and it's a pickoff. So those are some easy ones that, the flash and the daylight is something that's almost like spontaneous. We see what's going on, I give a little bit of flash, the pitcher knows it, and then boom, that's that's what we can do. You can do the same exact thing with the third baseman and the pitcher. The third baseman can just kind of go like this. He wants it on this side, so you always go with the hand closest to the base. So the second baseman would go like this. The shortstop's going like this. The third baseman's going like that. The pitcher goes, he lifts and fires, and they pick off. So it's so hard to relay that from the dugout, and you're screaming stuff out because a lot of times you're playing the same teams. They know that Johnny's playing third base, so you're like, here we go, Johnny. And you know that's not the pitcher. And next you know they pick off, and every time you say, here we go, Johnny, it's, they know what's going on. But so the flash is just an easy way. You can go to the ear, you can make sure the pitcher knows. So those are some easy ways that you can kind of work those in together.
Coach Miguel, what's your guys' opinion on stealing in the minors division of Little League? What's your opinion on advancing on wild pitches? It almost makes you not want to develop pitchers in live situations because you're thinking of that base runner advancing to their next base. I think that's a great question, and I think a lot of times in Little League, it just turned into a circus of just steal after steal after steal because the catchers can't really throw runners out. Pitchers aren't really working well on on pickoff moves or holding the runners on. And again, I don't know if your minors is the same as our minors, but once they get to 10 and 11, they can start taking leads. But nines and tens, they don't. So I guess it depends on whether or not they're taking leads. I think pass balls, runners should go. And then it just depends on the game and the score of the game. I think early in the game, if you're trying to put some runs on the board, there's nothing wrong with stealing. But I think it's being aware of, you guys go up 8, 9, 10 runs in the second inning, slow it down on the base paths. I think that's just, respecting the game and respecting the opponent. Because at that point, you're just taking advantage of a catcher that can't throw runners out. So that would be my 2 cents. I think play the game hard, right? So, when I talk to our guys about slowing it down, we're not going to steal bases, but we can still get dirt ball reads. We can still go on pass balls. We're still going to try to go first to third on a base hit. We're going to play the game hard, but we're not going to take advantage of a team and, try to exploit something that they're not very good at.
Coach Potts, how do you build confidence up in 12U softball batting? We can have a great batting practice on pitching machine, but as soon as you put them against live arms, their confidence goes away. I try to teach them yes mentality, yes, any help's appreciated. I think trying to get them as many live at-bats as possible. When pitchers are warming up and throwing, have your girls put their helmets on and stand in there and see balls, see live balls. So the pitching machine is great to get reps in, but the more they can hit live and see live and do live, I think that's ultimately the only way to build confidence, because you can pitch softy balls and hard balls and do whatever, but they need to actually be in game situations. So maybe some of those pitchers during practice are throwing live batting practice on the field, and you're trying to build them up that way. But the yes mentality is super huge. That's great that you're teaching that. I think you just keep on going and you just keep on working them through it. Awesome. Hey coaches, how quick do you remove a pitcher if he's walking kids? Is 3 batters the limit? I didn't pull a normally very accurate pitcher this past term, but he was confident he was going to work through it, and he didn't. And by the end, he had 5 walks, 2 hits, and hit a batter. Yeah, that was
us
tough.
Yesterday, man. I think it just comes down to the score of the game and where you guys are at. So for us, we wanted to get a guy in that has struggled with command a little bit, and we said, this is a perfect opportunity to do so. So, I think he threw 2 fastballs right down the middle, blew the kid's doors off, and then walked him on 4 straight pitches. Got it out, and then walked 2 more guys, and I went out and talked to him, and just trying to pump him with confidence. I said, dude, you're doing a great job out here, right? You have really good stuff. I want you to aim small, miss small, pick out something small on the target right here and go right at him. And, he walked another guy, and then I could start to see he was a little defeated out there. So, it was 4 or 5 batters at that point, and I looked at our other coach and just said, hey, let's give him one more batter. Let's give him one more batter here. We still have the lead. Obviously, we're trying to win the ball game, but we also don't want to leave this kid hanging out to dry and walking everybody in. We tried to give him an opportunity to work through his struggles, and I think that's a good time, whether you're up big or down big, to get a kid in there that doesn't get in very often, or maybe they're working through something mechanically or mentally. Definitely, I think your 3 batter limit's good there. If they walk 3 guys in a row, it's just having a feel for the situation, and then also knowing your player. After the first couple walks, our guy still wanted the ball. after the fourth walk, I could kind of tell he was done and he didn't want to be out there anymore. So that's always a good time to make the move. But I think understanding the individual will definitely help.
Nice. Coach Jason McDonald, do you do coaches clinics? Yes, we do coaches clinics. We do coaches clinics live here at Zoned in Bridgewater, New Jersey, but we also will travel and do coaching clinics at your location for your coaches or for your league. So you can send us an email, info@dominatethediamond.com. We'll make sure that we get in touch with you. And if you want us to come down to your league, we'll come out there, and we do coaches clinics, but we also do player clinics. So we'll come out there for the weekend on Friday or Saturday. We'll do a 2-hour coaches clinic, work through drills, talk about philosophies, communications, and then on Sunday we bring all the players out, and the coaches actually work with the players with us by their side. So we're kind of working the entire league out. So we can do either or. But info@dominatethediamond.com. Send us an email and we'll talk about it, and hopefully we can come out to your city or town.
Got a good one from Coach Torres. Should the throw from the outfield on a single always go to your cutoff? Coach, I think it just depends on the situation. Nobody on, nobody out. First batter of the inning, base hit to the outfield. We just want to secure the ball at that point. So we want to field it, get it into the infield, hit the cutoff man, have them relay the ball back in, and we move on from there. If it's a first and third situation where the runner's trying to go first to third, base hit to right field, it all depends on the player's arm strength. It depends on the size of the field, what age you're talking about. For 13U, where the kids can't reach, I would definitely recommend hitting the cutoff man. For your younger ages, 12U, yep, you don't have to hit the cutoff man. If you can throw a line drive right to the bag or give your third baseman a nice long one hop. So I think it's understanding the arm strength, the size of the field, and then also the situation. But we always teach our guys to throw straight through the cutoff so that if the player does have to cut it off, they can. We don't want to throw rainbows in there just to get it right to the base. We want to try to throw a line drive because we'd much rather that third baseman or shortstop get a nice long hop instead of something thrown way up in the air and then you give them a little in-between hop.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Slide it up, Dom. What do we got?
That one's it.
Nice. Well, listen, we love the thumbs up. We love the hearts. If you like what we're saying, if you like what we're talking about, give us a thumb up. If you like our answer, you guys can also help each other out. If you see a certain question that's up there that maybe happened to you as a coach, how do you handle that? What's something that you might do? So I think we're always here to help each other out. We're always here to, as a community and as coaches. There's so much going on, and there's so many different rules, that I think it's, that's the challenging part. Here, it's pretty much in Bridgewater, the leading doesn't start until they're 11. But we had a call the other day from a guy from California, and they were only 8. They were 8 years old, and they're allowed to lead and steal, and it's like, wow, that's so much for a pitcher that's just pretty much coming off coach pitch. Their first year of player pitch, there's already leading and stealing and pickoffs and first and thirds and bunt coverages, and I was like, oh my gosh, like you're just learning how to pitch for the first time. Now you got to worry about holding runners on and all that stuff. So it gets a little crazy. So yeah, it's nuts.
Seeing a lot of thank yous. Thank you guys, especially the volunteer coaches out there, that are just doing it for the love of the game, or just wanting to get out there and coach your kid and jumping on here and listening to us every week. Your questions always drive us, and it gives us ideas for new courses and new content, and it drives our topics for the next following couple weeks. So we look forward to this every Monday, and I love doing it on Monday mornings. The weekend recap, because again, I got a whole sheet full of notes from yesterday, and we've got 2 practices this week, and we got to get to work, and I think you guys are all in the same boat. So being able to recap on Monday morning, I think is very helpful. It's fresh in our minds, and then we can get ready and prep the practices for this week.
I think that leads me into something that I wanted to talk about, and Coach Steve always talks about this, and that is, how do we prepare for next weekend? How do we prepare for practice? What are we going to do in practice? What should we go over? Well, Coach Steve always takes a card, a note card, whether it's the lineup card for the day or a notepad. And if something goes wrong in the game, he writes it down and jots it down. If there's a play that maybe wasn't executed right, or a base runner forgot, missed a sign, or anything that happens, making small notes so that you look at that at the end of the night or maybe the next morning, you're using that to then, that'll dictate what your next practice should be like. What didn't we do well? Maybe it's rundowns, darn it. Maybe it's hitting cutoffs. Maybe it's yes mentality in the cages and we're going to pitch balls and we're trying to square up balls to the back of the net. Maybe it's we need to work more on pickoffs. And using those cards, the notes, because there's so much that goes on in a game, we often forget what the heck even happened. If we wait 4 days and now we have practice on Thursday, we're like, okay, what should we work on? Opposed to making that practice plan on Monday for Thursday, and you're already done. Now Thursday kicks in, boom, you're ready to go. You're ready to work on the stuff that you know you need to work on. But having a little note card in your pocket, having a little notebook is a great way to help you as coaches remember what happened in the game and prepare for the next game.
Awesome.
So I think that's good, Coach Steve. That was an awesome job. Anybody that has some questions that that you think of later, you can always add it in the comments section. We'll go back through it. We'll look at it. We'll talk about it. If you have any suggestions for courses that you want to see or things that you want us to create for you, templates or our cue cards, anything you can think of, leave them in the comments. info@dominatetediamond.com. Email us, talk to us. If you have any questions, we're always here to help. So Duke Baxter, Steve Nikorak in Zone Sports Academy, go out and dominate the diamond. Thank you.